Welcome to CarSceneKorea. I introduce newly released Genesis, Hyundai, and Kia cars. And as you saw from the thumbnail, I have Palisade for you, but not just any other Palisade or all the Palisades I've been showing you on my channel. I have interior, exterior, walk around, POV, test drive, you name it. But I bet you never have seen this car yet on the world of YouTube. That is non-calligraphy trim Palisade. This car behind me is called Prestige trim here in Korea, i.e. it is a non-calligraphy trim, and I will show you all about it inside out. And please bear with me because of the lighting and the display on my background. It's going to turn winter blue, dark, you name it, throughout today's video, so please bear with me. So before I lose the lighting, let me show you the up-close look of the front look. Let's go. So first and foremost is the difference between the front look, the front bumper. There is still the seamless horizon lamp that runs across, unlike other cars from Hyundai, where they kind of differentiated the car by not having the DRLs that runs and gets all connected throughout. Regardless of the trim you get, there is the seamless horizon lamp running across like that. However, the difference, have you spotted one? It is all on the front bumper, the different front bumper design. So this versus the calligraphy front bumper I am including on the screen right now. So that pretty much is what you can and how you can differentiate and distinguish a calligraphy versus non-calligraphy trim. So this rectangular square looking design, but something that you only get to feel and notice when you see and meet the car in person super up close is that it's not just the rectangular that is flat. I mean, it is all leveled as you can see. However, this portion, this part of the design actually is sticking out. It's at an angle. Therefore, it's not completely flat. This part inside of the grille is angled. As you can see more evidently right there, right? So this versus the calligraphy trim. So you see the differences right away. I mean, it's completely different, right? With the calligraphy trim, there is another silver accent with the front bumper that actually makes it look like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are DRLs. Makes it look like the 6th DRL. However, that is not a DRL. This non-calligraphy trim is missing the silver accent here, which is the same body color matched color at the bottom. It's not all that much different unless you are a Palisade owner or if you are heavily interested in the Palisade as far as the front design is concerned. So let's move on to the side and the profile of the car. Well, of course, definitely the most evident one is the wheels. 255/50 20-inch wheels. I mean, it is a 20-inch wheel, still very large wheel. However, looking together with the cladding and the opening between the wheels and tires of the side profile and the fender, it looks much smaller than the actual wheel size, which is the 20-inch wheels, right? For your information, 20-inch wheel is not a small size wheel by any means. However, this massive profile and the wheelhouse makes it look like so, and because of that, the calligraphy is loaded with the 21-inch wheels that I will show you up close momentarily. It does have that multi-spoke-like design to it, which is my favorite regardless of the cars. So what are your thoughts about that? Drop in the comment below and let me know. The rotors and the brakes, they are essentially the same. So the design has the good old 5-spoke wheels. However, this is something that I haven't seen before on other cars just yet. And one more thing about the side profile. Do you notice something? I know you do. So look at right here, the cladding around the car, which is this portion, is actually finished in high gloss black, i.e. it's not body color matched. So you do see the cladding accents all throughout, whereas that's not really the case with the calligraphy trim. The calligraphy trim is body color matched throughout the entire car. So there are definitely personal preferences when it comes to the cladding color. Some people like the black finish. Some people even like it better with the plastic finish instead of the high gloss, which this car has. So what's your pick and choice between this black piano cladding versus the body color matched cladding right over there? And that is the door stab, which is for an extra option. You can still get that on a non-calligraphy trim. So it shows and says right here, H-Track. That is the all-wheel drive for Hyundai. Of course, fully automated. You still get that on this Prestige trim, just so you know. There are two configurations in Korea domestic market. There are 7-seater and the 9-seater. This one is the 7-seater configuration, having 2 plus 2 plus 3, and 2 being the captain seats in the middle. You can still get the massage seat, the captain seats, with non-calligraphy trim as well. If you are curious about the reviews of the car, feel free to check out and refer to my previous videos. I have multiple videos on Palisade, and that is also for an extra option, but I would definitely highly encourage you to include it. That is very useful. So let's check out the interior as well. Fully automated trunk, although this is a Prestige trim. So it looks like that on the profile with the black claddings around the car, the taillights. Looking at the rear design now, it's a bit controversial because it is somewhat two-toned. It doesn't really stand out because of the exterior color, but it does very much when you go with the white color. If you go creamy white pearl, you'll see this part being black. And also this middle part, the trunk part, is also black. So it doesn't really stand out with this color, but it certainly does with creamy white pearl. So drop in the comment below, let me know what you think about that. I actually have seen a lot of hate on that design. I don't know, I think I'll have to save my answer until I see the creamy white pearl Prestige trim in person. But it actually does look quite all right with darker colors. You're not going to see any of that if you go with the black color, right? So let's go inside and see what the difference is. Yep, I knew it, because it's supposed to be much more quieter than this. Rolling up the windows, and even if the car is a Prestige trim, it does have dual acoustic laminated glass. For a detailed interior review, please refer to my earlier videos. I just want to quickly point out what the difference is, this versus the calligraphy trim. So I don't see any calligraphy written on there, because at the far right, there is the calligraphy engraved. However, it's missing, but there's the extra storage right there, and also drop-down glove box, just like that. And there also is the motorized control on the passenger seat too, 100 watt, 2 of them on the sides. That's also together with the center console. So what's missing? Do you see any? There's also the seatbelt lighting here for the nighttime. That actually is quite useful. And the massage seat. Oh, I know one now. So this is not a calligraphy seat. There is the calligraphy exclusive seat design and material that you would see. So the same goes for the third row seat as well. Palisade is actually loaded with options and text and features, even if the car is not a calligraphy trim. I really need some help finding what's missing. And I can see that there is the inverter right there. There is the power source inside the vehicle as well, although this car is not a hybrid model. With the hybrid model, you will have the V2L located at the back of the trunk, but you can still get this even if the car is the ICE, internal combustion engine gasoline model. Extra storage for your document and whatnot, gigantic cup holders, and the sound system. There is also the traffic alert for the second row seat as well. It will show and notify the traffic around it. Although manual, there is the blind, but it's also manual for calligraphy trim as well. The door handle. All right, so I do see that the finish around the headliner inside the B-pillar is somewhat different. I cannot pinpoint what the material is, but it's not the suede like the ones that I felt on the calligraphy trim. There is the door handle on both sides for the second row seat. And so you see I can control it all from the trunk. And there is the motorized seat control for the third row seat too. So what are you missing over here? So I can control the seat using this button like so. So press over here to control the second or third row seat. And I can do this. Oh, alrighty. So that's how you control. There is the second and third row seat button for that. So you can control it that way. So let's get in the driver's seat of this non-calligraphy trim. I keep saying non-calligraphy trim because I don't know what the trim name will be for overseas markets. I just want to let you know that it's not the loaded model, it's not the loaded trim, but everything here is same. Even has the door spot lighting included with the ergo motion seat and 2 memory seats. So you can control multiple ways. You can pretty much get any of seating position that you like, fully motorized, included with the automated telescopic as well. All self-explanatory buttons. Oh, and the sunroof was actually tilted, so that wasn't really completely quiet. So this is what we can expect to find, the MVH, noise, vibration, and harshness. Again, interior-wise, the driver's seat-wise, not much different. I did already test drive the car a few times. I test drove all-wheel drive H-Track for Hyundai Performance on snowy roads. Do check that video out if you want to know everything about this Palisade. Alright, spotting the difference finally. So although this is a 2+2+3 7-seater configuration, this does not open sideways unlike the Calligraphy trim did. So that is the difference I found now. And the rest of the stuff, so this portion of the design actually quite resembles to that of the 9-seater configuration, except that it is not. You see the middle is completely attached to the center console like this, so there is nothing, no device here where I can pull the middle seat up. Let's check what's underneath the hood. And there is only gasoline model available even in Korean market, so I'm not going to see anything special. It's going to be 2.5 turbo. That this car is, just like so. The gas lift and sound absorbers underneath the bonnet and hood as well. So it is actually sitting a little more forward from the center of the wheels, which contributes a great drivability and handling. So let's hop in this Calligraphy trim and show you the differences. So this is what I mean. If you get the 9-seater, you're supposed to see this. And that's how I know it's a 9-seater. Yank this and I can actually lift that up, have the third person sitting in the middle. And for the 7-seater configuration, you can check out my other videos. So it looks pretty much like that for the Calligraphy 9-seater configuration. And I don't think it's going to take an automotive YouTuber to show and feel the difference between the Calligraphy and non-Calligraphy trim. Fabric here, the material used here is much more luxurious, together with the leather here, and has the two-tone interior all throughout. It's very luxurious. All right, excuse me. So that is the good thing visiting the showrooms like this. Unlike what I have said, there is no calligraphy written. However, there is the calligraphy on the headrest. So it's right there, and different seat design, different seat material from the Prestige trim as we've been seeing. However, the rest of the stuff is pretty much identical. This portion, handle, the ergo motion seat, and 2 memory seats, steering wheel, the rest of the layout is pretty much the same, except the overall sensation and feeling. The leather used inside is very, very different. You'll feel all of that the moment you hop inside this Calligraphy trim. And that's the same thing for the second row seat, of course, all throughout the car. And this is the 9-seater. That is the reason why it opens up like that. But if it's a 7-seater, it will open sideways. And I can actually show you, lift this up, what it's like when you have this seat. So pull this. So look at that. You can put it back down by yanking this. And it's gonna get folded like that and get locked in. But it just looks like a center-on console, doesn't it? Hyundai did an amazing job with that. And also on the front, this active air flap, it's missing the design that Calligraphy trim has. Calligraphy trim has extended grille design even on this active air flap, which will open and close accordingly, contributing to lowered CD coefficient of drag, including the footage right now. So that's it for today's video, going over 2026 Hyundai all-new Palisade Calligraphy versus non-Calligraphy trim. Again, I say this because the trim names will differ depending on your country globally, so double check with your local dealership, but there are some subtle, if not a few differences here and there with Calligraphy versus non-Calligraphy trim. And there is a good reason why I am wrapping up my video like this with Hyundai IONIQ 9 on my background, because I'm going to shoot IONIQ 9 versus all-new Palisade right now. So you don't want to miss that video out if you are in the market of looking for the Palisade versus IONIQ 9. This is the first full-size EV SUV from Hyundai made out of the eGMP electric global modular platform versus the all-new Palisade, another flagship SUV that is ICE, internal combustion engine, together with the gasoline model and hybrid model to come. I will tell you what the differences are and how they differ. Again, I have multiple videos on both of the cars. I have also test driven IONIQ 9 a couple of times already, and I actually also did sign up, pre-order the all-new Hyundai Palisade, fully loaded model, calligraphy, hybrid, all-wheel drive. But after test driving the two cars, I really have a torn decision and decisions to make right now. So that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like and subscribe CarSceneKorea if you did, and I'll see you in the next video, right? All right, bye-bye. But it looks absolutely gorgeous though, don't you think?